The Battle of Kursk in 1943 is described as the greatest tank battle the world has ever seen. Perhaps less glamorously, it also showcased the greatest anti-tank defence ever assembled. So if you are to take on this Russian beast, you will need to know about fortifications, obstacles, anti-tank ditches and minefields. Fortifications are described on page 58 of the user manual. Basically, there are 4 types of fortifications: improved, trenches, bunkers and pillboxes. It is important to note that bunkers and pillboxes are hard targets. Obstacles, see page 34 and the engineer section. The first time an obstacle hex is entered, it costs the entering unit its full movement allowance. After the first entry, the obstacle status is penetrated. Obstacles inhibit movement. Penetrated obstacles. For units in travel mode, there is no additional cost to enter, but they cannot travel at the road rate. If there is a road, it will be the underlying hex rate. In deployed mode, it costs the unit the hex cost plus 1/4 of total movement points of the unit. Obstacles do not block supply and can be removed by engineer mine clearing units in the same way that minefields are removed. So we're going to have a look at the scenario 070506 Alt, a gaping hole scenario from Kursk 43. So if we have a quick look at these obstacles just to the north of these units, you'll see they have the obstacles letters in uppercase. So this means these guys are unpenetrated at this stage. Unpenetrated obstacles. So we go back to the west and we see there's a couple of obstacles here, and they have a little black and white underline, plus the obstacles is in upper and lower case. So that means these obstacles are penetrated. In other words, a unit prior to this position has moved through the hex. Now we select a unit here which is motorised, as you can see by the symbol of the little truck there. Now interestingly, these guys should be on foot because the font's in yellow. So let's just make sure. Okay, so now these guys, we definitely know they're on foot. So being on foot, we're moving into a clear hex, and we'll put them in transport mode first off. So we've got 26T. So moving in transport mode, there is no additional cost, but they cannot move in road movement. So it has to be the underlying hex, which in this case is clear. So we're expecting to go from 26T foot. We're in soft conditions, info, weather, soft conditions, 9. So we're expecting this to cost us 9 movement points. So let's see how we go. 26 to 17, 9 points. Well, who would have believed it? So just to check that again, to move to the next clear hex should cost us 9 points, which will then take us down to 8. and we know it costs us 9 points, so we should not be able to move any more hexes. And that is correct. So we'll check another unit. Right click. Now this guy is a motorized unit. The font's in yellow, which should mean he's on foot. So I won't use the command this time to put him on foot, and we'll see what sort of result we get. So we would expect that to have the same result, to be 9 points. So from 26 to 17 in transport mode. Right, so because that was 99 transport points, they obviously weren't moving in foot. They were actually moving by truck. So that is despite the facts. And see, now he moved in motorized, so that's a little bit of a trick. If you see the font in yellow when they are motorized, but you want to move them on foot, you need to use the command go on foot, otherwise they'll move in motorized fashion. So in this unit's case, he went from 99 to 75. So motorized is 200%. So in clear hex, it's normally 12. In this case, 200% is 24. 24 from 99 is 75. Excellent. So just for the sake of the argument, let's say we want to move this unit now to this hex here, which is clear. So we expect him to cost 24, and 24 will take us to 51. Don't you love it when a plan comes together? So that was an interesting example with the yellow font, and moving is if you definitely want them to move in on foot status, make sure you change it with the command. Although it's in yellow hex, yellow font, it can be misleading sometimes. So let's check this guy. Now he's obviously a tracked vehicle. Tracked vehicle, we'll bash him into transport mode. A tracked clear hex, soft 9. Okay, we'll see what happens. 79 to 70. So there we go. 70 to 61, 9 points. So correct weight, we can say for foot and motorised in transport mode. So let's see if we can find another one. Here's another hex here. Once again, lowercase. Now this hex is a village. Underneath all these obstacles is a village. Select the unit. This guy is motorised. Now it has yellow font at the moment, but we know if you want to move him on foot, you have to go command, go on foot, and the on foot label comes up. So we're moving into a penetrated obstacle which is in a village. Foot, village, 12. Okay, so we go to our unit. We'll put him in transport mode again, just to prove this village situation. 28 minus 12, 16. And there we go again. Working like a beauty. So And then if he wants to move into a clear hex on foot, clear is 9. So it'll be 7, won't it? So let's move him up to there. So how interesting is that? So what about moving through penetrated obstacles in deployed mode? Obviously there are many reasons why we may want to tactically move through a penetrated obstacle. So we'll put these guys on foot. So it costs us the underlying hex value, which is a clear hex in this case, plus 1/4 of its movement value. So the total movement value for this unit is 26. We move into the penetrated obstacle in deployed mode. So that cost us 18 points. From 26 to 8 is 18 points. To calculate deployed movement cost into a penetrated obstacle is a little bit complicated, so we'll go through it step by step. So, movement by deployed mode into a penetrated obstacle. The formula is movement cost equals hex cost plus the unit movement factor multiplied by 1/4 or 0.25, and then this is then multiplied by the ground conditions. In our example we have unit movement foot. The underlying hex is clear, which is 6. The maximum unit movement in this case was 26, and the conditions are soft, which for foot movement is 150% penalty. So basically we have 6 plus 26 multiplied by 0.25 multiplied by 150%. So once you go through this calculation, it equals 18. So if you have to know, this is the formula, and I'd like to thank Greenie at the Blitz for providing me with this information. By comparison, unpenetrated obstacles are very easy. You can see this hex here is an unpenetrated obstacle. Obstacles is written in all uppercase in the hex info box. We have two units here, a Stug with 79 movement points and an infantry unit with 26. So we'll move the infantry unit into the unpenetrated obstacle. It costs the infantry unit 100% of its movement points to move into that hex. And you can see now the obstacles in the hex information box is in upper and lower case. So it is now a penetrated obstacle. We'll now select the Stug. We'll put it in travel mode, and we'll move it into the obstacle hex. And it costs the Stug the penetrated obstacle rate, which is just the underlying hex, which in this case was clear. This allows us to continue to move the unit which allows us obviously more tactical options, and we discover a hex with 3 mines in it. So unpenetrated obstacles are quite easy, but do note that if I moved the Stug and the infantry unit together into the obstacle hex for the first time, as in it's an unpenetrated obstacle, it will cost both units 100% of their movement points. So a little trick there, only move one unit into an unpenetrated obstacle if you have to. Anti-tank ditches are described on page 36 of the manual. As the name implies, vehicles are unable to cross an anti-tank ditch or assault across an anti-tank ditch. They can be destroyed by any engineer unit in the same way that a bridge is damaged. Also, a bridge laying unit can put a bridge across an anti-tank ditch. Minefields are described on page 35 of the manual. Initially, minefields block supply until a unit enters the hex, so they're similar to obstacles in that way, in that they have a penetrator status and unpenetrated. They can be removed by units that have the mine clear or demolition attribute. Clearing minefields is described on page 73. Engineers can clear minefields. It costs 1/3 of the engineer unit's movement allowance to enter. At the start of the next turn, the minefield will be reduced by 1 until removed. If the engineer unit stays in the strength 2 or 3 minefield, other units will be able to cross the minefield safely. The idea is that the engineer unit has cleared a lane when the first strength factor was cleared. Here is a section of the battlefield that we've been discussing during the video. So we have a bunker and pillbox defence with an anti-tank ditch in front of the fortifications, and the anti-tank ditch is protected by strength 3 minefields. The terrain has modest undulations, forests and streams to complicate the issue. So our plan will be to first identify units with high hard attack capability to disrupt the fortification defenders. We will then have to assault the fortifications with infantry and secure the northern hex, that is the hexes north of the anti-tank ditches. Then destroy the anti-tank ditches with the engineers, and lastly cross with our heavy vehicles. This is the scenario map in full, and I presume if we get everything perfect we might be able to reach this village 1000 point victory location in the north. But before we think of going that far, this is the opening scene that we have. So at the moment we can only spot one bunker hex which has this infantry unit in it, and this unit here with the yellow bar can spot it with S. You can see that these other units do not have the yellow bar, so they cannot see the bunker at the moment. Alright, so if we select the bunker and hit the S key, you can see that this is the only unit that can see into there. If we highlight this hex here, we can actually see that bunker. So we need to find units that can get to that hex that have a range of 2 and a high hard attack factor. So the Marder, hard 33, range of 2. Perfect, that's what we're after. The Stug 3, he has a hard of 33 at 2, so we'll move him across first. 1, 2. So 64. So that's a good result for us. S, he can see across here, but we can't tell if there's any minefields in there or any units unless they move. At this stage you might have a quick check if we have a reconnaissance plane. We do. So I often find, this might not be true or not, but if your ground units can see into a hex, you can have more luck with your recon aircraft in locating units. So we'll send our recon unit in. Aha! So that's quite handy. So we know there's units in there. We don't know what type, but at least we're on the road. So now we'll continue. So we had our Marder we identified previously. That's a clear hex, is it? It is, okay. So I'll grab our Marder. 1, 2, 3. Marder still has 55 points left. I don't believe we can attack these units yet because we don't know what they are. Let's have a go just to see what happens. No, we can't. No valid targets in the hex. So we can only, at this stage, shoot hexes or targets that we've identified. Oops. Select our Marder. So at this stage it would have been nice to have had a Stuka with a bomb rather than just recon, but that's okay. Actually, Ju-88s were our recon aircraft, the Stukas and 87 of course. So we continue our search. So this guy has a hard at 5 at 4, which I don't think that would offer as much value. So we just got to keep looking around. Here was what we're after. Another Marder 2, 33 at 2. Now for the stacking purposes, so there's 1310. So I think what we need to do is move one of these units forward so that we can then move our Marder forward. Right, so he has 57, so that's good also. So we'll right, so we're not going so bad at this stage. So there's another Marder. Okay, so our Armada. So what we're looking for is firing points for our Armada here. So we cannot see that hex from there, there, there. Gosh. So we can only see that hex from there at this stage, as in being 2 hexes away, obviously. We want to try and avoid going in the minefields as long as possible, but there's no doubt in this sort of scenario we're going to have to take the plunge because we just don't have enough engineers. I think there's 2 there. So while we're on the engineers, why don't we grab 5 and 1, 6 and 1. Okay, so let's we might as well put one guy in there and start him clearing mines. I mean, it's not the most useful hex in the world, but I don't think he could have moved any further anyway. So if we go view, shade, reachable hexes. So you couldn't have gone any further anyway. So if we select this engineer here, there you go. So he can't go any further forward. So I might just stick him in there. Just might as well clear them. Okay, so we have here a Panzer. A very interesting unit. Has an assault value of 30, so quite excellent. Except we cannot assault across an anti-tank ditch. So this guy will come in handy, but not immediately. Now the other unit in the hex is an AT Pack 40 with a heart of 37, so that's very good. So we definitely need to think about moving him up. So we have to put him in transport mode to move. Rightio, so he can only make it up to 2 hexes. That's a bit sad, isn't it? Yes, 2 hexes. Righty-o, so right, so at this stage I'll continue and identify all those hard units that can fire over hexes, but the general theory is we're looking for hexes which we can put our that can see. So this hex here, for instance, that's useful for firing on this one for a range of 2 hexes. This hex here can see into those 2 if we want to fire over a range of 2. This hex here can't see that one. This one can, but can't see those. This one can see that hex there, so that'll probably be useful putting in a this gun, I would say. This Pack 40, excellent. So he'll definitely go into transport mode, and we'll move him forward, put him out of transport mode, and I'll continue doing that along the front here. So our first priority is to get units with a range of 2 with a high anti-tank or anti-hard factor into those locations so they can fire. The idea then is disrupt the inhabitants, then move the infantry forward, and they're going to have to plough through the minefields because we just don't have enough engineers to clear a path, I don't think, at this stage. And eventually get the engineers up to bridge the anti-tank ditch or destroy it so that we can move across. So I'll come back to you at the start of turn 2. Cheers. Right, so welcome back. So this is the scene at the end of my first turn of movement and firing. Basically these guys are sliding a little bit left. They may try and break out through here. I've pushed this guy forward into the minefield. We've spotted these two guys. I've moved the Stugs into range. Moved the Tiger Panthers forward. So I think we've been able to pretty successfully give these guys a bit of a workout. Managed to disrupt a gun here. So on our next turn, hopefully we can disrupt the inhabitants. So a bit of a gutsy move here. The most likely axis of advance for us, of course, is up the primary road. So I am making a drive towards there. We'll see how we go against this pillbox. But I am hoping to get rid of this chap here. If we get rid of him, well then we'll have hopefully we're looking for a 3 hex opening so that we can then travel unhindered in the central hex and not be inhibited by enemy zones of control. Now I dare say there's going to be more enemy units up here further to the north, but we'll just have to persevere with that. So nothing for it but to press the end of turn button. So air units are available. Some of those minor mine clearing tasks were successfully completed. 4 artillery units unavailable, but other than that, I think a good turn 1 for us. So at this stage, of course, we're after this chap here. So we'll grab all our quality hard factors there, 33, 33 and 33. So you think close to 100 points would shake him up a bit. Alright, so we're really hoping to get a disruption here. Oh, we didn't disrupt. Let's see if we've got some Stukers. Oh, there's one. A carpet bombing. Oh well, we'll give it a go. I'd rather a Ju-87. Great, I just managed to bomb my own people. Well, that was a bit of a fail, wasn't it? Oh, he's disrupted, drat. They fired. I need someone else who can reach that hex. Okay, so if I can grab him. Oh, he can't move up there. Can you believe it? Aha, S. Oh, he can't see that one over there. While we're here, we'll just... What I would want to do is get these two guys to assault this hex, but I would much rather them assault a disrupted defender. Now if we select him and go S, so I need to get a unit into there with hard factors. Yeah, because we fired those ones. Have to have a quick look. Now these guys, unfortunately, a 15-1. So I'm keeping them aside for when we eventually break through. Now there should be one more Tiger around. So can I move him to there and still get to fire? That's the question. So this guy here, if he moves to there, you can see him. Okay, well there we go. Oh, we can't move to there. Must be stacking. 950. Rats. So what's in there? That's got 670. Oh, we... Okay, so take him out of travel mode. Can he fire? Oh, line of sight is blocked by the units there. Rats. Okay, well, while we're there, we might as well... Can you see these guys? Well, that's something at least. So we've got a Tiger here, but I'm pretty sure I can't move him into there because of the stacking situation. I can't move that guy out. So our engineer, do I... Okay, you can start clearing mines there. Rightio, so bit of dithering. Okay, nothing for it, bud. No, he won't be able to fire anyway. Command, go on foot. Now, if nothing else, these chaps will be in place to assault in the next turn. I think we'll go for broke here. I could move them across to there, but I think it's still going to be worthwhile having a try at this. Okay, well there you go. It didn't quite work for us. So we got this guy here. Unfortunately, disrupted, so do I have anyone in range? So he's S. Nope, cannot see. Okay, so let's get this one here. Oh, don't tell me I could have done that. Line of sight blocks him. Oh, no. He's saying line of sight blocks over here. Oh, man, what a blow. Okay, well, he's going to have to move forward. Oh, and disrupted. Nasty business. 15 vehicles. Rats. didn't quite work like I was hoping, but we'll go for an assault anyway. Well, that's a bit of a relief that one of those assaults actually worked. So that is good news indeed. Okay, so a bit of good news after all that. So these guys here, here's their excellent hard factors of 33. So have a go at this one first. Disrupted, well that's a happy event. Do you think our poor old recon unit could do it? Oh gee, I put him in there in his vehicles as well. That was a mistake. Command. I wonder if that'll cause me to get, no, not further blown up. So what we're going to do is put these two guys. Now it doesn't matter which minefield we put them in, they're going to get blasted. So I'm going to put these guys in. That one. Oh, they can't. What? Stacking, is it? Yep. This guy's a pure infantry. So what we might as well try is this guy here. Attack the disrupted unit. And a reasonable success. Now this chap here is retreated into a trench, so we're still going to be having to fight our way through. But you can see the vulnerability of the trenches to assaults. Right, so at this stage I think you can see the principle seems to be working. Looks like the next turn we should be able to break out through here. Bit disappointing we couldn't get that one that turn, but I needed a Stuka or something like that just to get that extra bit of hard factor in. As I say, with the artillery is good for once you push them out, so before I end the turn and come back to you, I'll check the artillery on this infantry unit and the anti-tank gun, and we'll see what happens in our third turn. So I'll be back in a moment. Welcome back to the end of turn 2. Okay, let's see what air units we've got available for us. We'll focus on that one. This is what we want, the good old Sturkers. Just our luck. We'll try again. Oh, you're kidding. Perhaps I should have moved more anti-aircraft guns closer to the front as well. So the formula doesn't change, though. We'll find our stack of units. Even he can have a shot. Well, this guy certainly is being stubborn. Ah, he can. Okay, well. Ah. Well, we're not having much luck at disrupting this chaff, are we? Well, that's something. Well, I wonder if we could risk another assault with those guys. Beautiful. Oh, it's the anti-tank dish, that's why you can't go across there, of course. Can I move him? Oh, right. Hooray! We finally pushed him out. We pushed him back into a trench, but nevertheless, that's reasonably good news for us. So he's clearing mines there. He's clearing mines there. Okay, no worries. He's a bridge engineer. Oh, we can put a bridge across there, so that's something. Didn't actually expect that to happen. But we have to wait for the bridge for this one. These guys might as well wait. Rightio. So I could keep going along, and these guys are going to try and push through here. You can see it's going to be quite, if they've got bunkers and trenches, it'll be slow, but we're going to push our way through. So that was the main aim of this video, was to introduce players to bunkers and pillboxes and how to break through. I think that's a reasonably good example, well on the way now to break through, because otherwise the video will go over an hour, which I don't think you need to see all that. So I hope you enjoyed my introduction to obstacles, fortifications, minefields and anti-tank ditches. Certainly Kursk is full of these sorts of things, so if you decide to take on the Russian beast, have fun working through that puzzle. So enjoy your gaming, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.